Another human timeline revealed. Graham Hancock shatters modern history. This is by Massey Gani. Graham Hancock is one of the few great pioneers in alternative history. Formerly working as a journalist for the big media companies, he set off on a journey to discover the real truth of our origins. His research is startling and quite possibly erases the old narrative of history. There's evidence that the timeline of civilization extends much farther back than just 10,000 years ago. The famous ancient monument in Egypt, the Great Sphinx, stands today showing signs of erosion as if water had been running through its walls for many thousands of years. This, of course, means that there had to have been long periods of rainfall in the Sahara Desert at the time it was built, as water must have been touching it long enough to cause the erosion seen on the Sphinx. There's been almost no rain in the desert for approximately 5,000 years. Was the Sphinx perhaps built at a much earlier time, like right after the Ice Age, when the climate was drastically different? Now, we know that 5,000 years ago, there was an asteroid strike in the area southwest of Egypt as well. Now, we find other evidence of older civilizations across the world. The Göbekli Tepe is the monument in Turkey, which dates back to approximately 11,000 years ago. It remains show a structure consistent of carefully engineered stone tablets and carvings of animals such as lions and gazelles that lived nowhere near Turkey at the time. The findings of this structure certainly suggest that humans were living in a much more advanced society than previously thought. Cave dwellers or early agricultural settlers of remote numbers of people, due to the highly populated and skilled knowledge set required to create this. And as for where these ancient peoples came up with the idea to carve those animals out, no idea. Shockingly, if we keep looking, we find other traces of civilizations around the world that predate the oldest known remains, like the Dwarka in India, the 12,000-year-old tunnel network running from Scotland to Turkey, and many more. Yes, from Scotland all the way down to Turkey, 12,000-year-old tunnel. Who built this thing? Now, these civilizations even stood out for their cultural advancement. Most remarkable is the Piri Reis map, put together by a cartographer, mapmaker in 1513, that accurately predicts the world and its continents connected, including the continent of Antarctica. Antarctica is actually shown as a habitable place, one housed by humans. The level of geography and math, not seen until at least the 1800s, that it took to accurately display a map like that is far ahead of its time. The presence of longitudes, the equator, and even spots of Antarctica that only satellites have been able to pick up remain inexplicable. Atlantis? These are the fingerprints of the gods, as Graham Hancock would put it. But where are these fingerprints sourced from? Graham Hancock contends that Antarctica was once Atlantis. He believed that the entire continent was once booming with life until natural disasters changed the climate to the point that sea levels rose and temperatures dropped. Was there really an advanced civilization living on Earth at one time that we haven't heard of? If there was, could it have been more advanced than ours? Graham Hancock's accumulated evidence certainly creates a strong case for it. He published books Underworld, The Mysterious Origins of Civilization, Fingerprints of the Gods was his newest, Magician of the Gods, going into much further detail about this fascinating alternative history. Plato said, "This power came forth out of the Atlantic Ocean, for in those days the Atlantic was navigable." Now, you can check out the podcast to get a greater feeling for Graham Hancock by listening to him talk about more of his ideas. This is on Humans Are Free. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.